Ayo Renzo Gang. We got to talk about war games. We got to talk about war games, Renzo Gang, because last night, Survivor Series war games. I'm going to be honest with you. War games this year was not it. I'm sorry. War games was not it. I'm going to keep it real with you. I normally don't like comparing the two companies together, but AEW Blood and Guts definitely was a lot better than Survivor Series War Games. I'm gonna just say that. And I went to Blood and Guts. So yeah, I seen the action in person. That was my first time ever seeing a cage match, seeing falls count anywhere match, seeing someone get put through a flaming table. But this is WWE right now. I'm gonna just go ahead and just, get a little recap, do a little recap on, the pay-per-view last night with a PLE, whatever they want to call it nowadays. I'm gonna just say this. I give War Games a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I'm just keeping it real. Like, to be honest with you, the build up to War Games was not really all that. And to be honest with you, the best War Games match that you could have had that actually made sense was the build up. You could have had the Wyatt Six and the MFTs facing War Games, and you could have found you another person for each team, or you could have at least had 4-on-4 for that match, or you could have had what you could have did was you could have found like an extra person for the Wyatt Six versus the MFTs versus a team of Sami Zayn, Ray Phoenix, um, um, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Shinsuke Nakamura. You could have had three teams, at War Games. And then not to mention this year at War Games, we did not, I repeat, we did not have the shark cages. So I was a little upset about War Games this year. Like, War Games was not it. And to be honest with you, I feel like how everybody else is feeling, this need to be the last year of War Games be a Survivor Series. Like, War Games need its own PLE. If we're gonna be doing that, honestly, Survivor Series, they need to bring back the traditional 5-on-5 elimination tag match. After War Games this year, it was just not it. So I'm gonna just go through the matches that happened. I'm gonna go through them in order. So first we had the women's match. You had on one team you had Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and AJ Lee. And on the other team you had Nia Jax, Lash Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and you had Becky Lynch. So the match starts off Charlotte Flair and Asuka, Charlotte Flair's team, they have the advantage. So it started out Asuka and Charlotte, and it was really good. It started out really good. Like, the women's War Games match should have main evented. In my opinion, they should have main event. Like CM Punk was saying, they should have main evented. But started out those two, and then the next one you had, who was the next one to come on Charlotte Flair's team? I think it was Alexa Bliss, if I'm not mistaken. Charlotte Alexa Bliss. What was it? Alexa Bliss? I can't remember. That's how much the pay per view didn't really, PLE wasn't all that, but yeah. Then then of course on the next team you had, I want to say Kairi Sane came out next, and then fast forward to all the women coming in. To be honest with you, Lash Legend was supposed to have been the MVP of the women's match. Like, Lash Legend came in. She was the last woman to enter War Games to start the match, because like, once all the competitors on each team are inside of War Games, the match will not officially start until all members of every team gets in the cage. Lash Legend was the very last woman, and she did her thing. To be honest with you, Lash Legend should have been the MVP of that match. And unfortunately, that team of Lash Legend, Nia Jax, the Kabuki Warriors, and Becky Lynch, they lost, which I already knew that was going to happen. AJ Lee, she made Becky Lynch tap out. And to be honest with you, that match was actually really good. And when Io Sky jumped off the top of the cage with the trash can on and did a swanton bomb, like Io Sky is the GOAT of the women's war games. She's like the queen of war games. She's the queen of war games. I'm sorry, she's the queen of war games. Like, but to be honest with you, before she was the queen of war games, you had the Undisputed Era. They were the kings of war games in the NXT era. But Io Sky, she's been in every single women's war game match there has since they started out in WWE. And Lash Legend team, they would have won had Asuka not accidentally sprayed, Lash Legend with the poison mist. That wasn't her fault. And the women, they were going and they were terrorizing Becky Lynch. She was the last one, and then AJ Lee made her tap out. And to be honest with you, like I said, and like I agree with CM Punk, the women's War Games match should have main evented. I'm sorry, like that's just my opinion. That match is probably the best match of the entire PLE, in my opinion. Fast forward to the next match. It was the Intercontinental Championship match with Dirty Dominic Mysterio taking on John Cena, the Intercontinental Champion. And that was John Cena's final PLE ever. That was John Cena's final PLE. John Cena has one more match, literally 2 weeks away. He will be competing at Saturday night's main event. We all know it's going to be Gunther. And that will be his final match. But last night was John Cena's final PLE of all time. That was it. His last opponent at PLE was Dominic Mysterio. And I'm not going to lie, that match was really good. That match was good. And I'm not going to lie, the referee kind of messed Dominic Mysterio over because the fact that Dominic Mysterio, he faked his injury, and what's her name? Roxanne Perez and Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Rodriguez, they both interfered and they, attacked John Cena. And then when the ref, noticed that Dominic, he got up really fast and faked his injury, and, he hit him with the 619 and his, his finisher. The referee didn't count it. And I'm like, referee, what are you doing? Like any other heel, any other time faking the injury, they would have done it. You would have gave him the pinfall. But I'm like, really? You going to do Dominic Mysterio like that? So it was only right that, but then, once Dominic Mysterio, and John Cena, they got back, the referee kicked the other two out, and then the referee got knocked down by a shoulder tackle by John Cena, and then Finn Balor and JD McDonough came. They attacked John Cena. John Cena got them out of there. And then the referee was still down. And Liv Morgan showed up, which was surprising. She showed up. And she came in. We didn't know what was going on. She slapped Dominic Mysterio. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this got to be a setup to cause John Cena to lose, like to get John Cena off guard. And I was right. After she hugged John Cena, hit him with a low blow. And then she had Dominic Mysterio, he hit his 619 move, and then she took the Intercontinental Championship, hit John Cena with it, and then Dominic Mysterio, he pinned John Cena 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, Dominic Mysterio is the greatest heel right now in the company. After he loses the Intercontinental Championship for a second time, he needs to go for the World Championship. I don't care nobody. I don't care if it's the WWE title or the World Heavyweight title. He needs to go for that title once he finishes with the Intercontinental Championship. And he is the AAA Mega World Champion. So I'm glad Dominic Mysterio, he got his title back in his backyard in San Diego. I'm glad Dominic Mysterio deserved it. And John Cena, he gave a little standing ovation there. That was the last time. That was his last final pay-per-view. So I'm a little about that. But that match is really like for a non-War Games match. That was the best non-War Games match. I give that match a good old solid 9 out of 10. Now, the next match, it was the Women's World Championship. You had Stephanie Vaquera defending her championship against Nikki Bella. And needless to say, the match was it was okay. I feel like they're kind of holding Stephanie Vaquera down just a little bit because like some people feel like she's overrated when she's not. Stephanie Vaquera really is like that. Even when she competed against Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door a couple of years ago, she's like that. She's not overrated. Fast forward, Stephanie Vaquera, she beat Nikki Bella, and the match was. I'll give that match a good solid 7 out of 10. We already knew that she was not gonna beat Stephanie Vaquera for that world championship. We already knew that. Now the main event, you had the men's War Games match. You had on team one, you had CM Punk, the world heavyweight champion, the WWE champion Cody Rhodes, the Usos, Jimmy Uso and Jay Uso, and you had Roman Reigns. And on the other team, you had Team Heyman, which was consist of the Visions, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and yes, you heard it correctly, Brock Lesnar. And that was Brock Lesnar's first, War Games match. This was the first time he teamed up with anybody since like the early 2000s. So Brock Lesnar, he's always a one-man person. He don't do tag, he don't do teams, none of that. Starts out CM Punk and Braun Breaker. Was really good. And Paul Heyman's team, they had the advantage. So after, the 5 minutes were up, the next person to come out was Drew McIntyre. And you already know the last time those two linked up in a match, it was the Hell in a Cell match. And that was probably the most craziest match. Those two had the best rivalry of 2024. Of any, probably one of the biggest rivalry in wrestling history. One of the biggest rivalries in wrestling history. Man, those two put in work. And then obviously the next person that come out on CM Punk's team was the WWE champion Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes, he had his little rivalry with Drew McIntyre. They went in, bop 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 bop. Then the next person on Paul Heyman's team to come out was, if I'm not mistaken, Logan Paul. Logan Paul, he did pretty good, being his first time in War Games. Logan Paul, he's really not a bad competitor. We just don't like Logan Paul. Anyway, the next person to come out on Team CM Punk was Jimmy Uso. And I'm like, okay, Jimmy Uso, he did his thing, super kick party. Then the next person to come out was Bronson Reed. Tsunami splash party. And then the next person to come out was Jay Uso. Jay Uso, he did his thing, he went in there, did his thing, and then in the middle of the War Games match, he yeeted the whole, the rest of his time, and then while his music was playing, while he was yeeting, Brock Lesnar comes out, and Brock Lesnar was wreaking havoc. I tell you, he wreaked havoc. And Roman Reigns was the final participant to come out, but Brock and Roman were literally fighting outside of War Games, and that was a little crazy spot. And then Brock put Roman back inside because he F5'd Roman through a table, but even though Roman was getting him with the Superman punches, and then as soon as the match started, chaos, just erupted all over the War Games. Chaos just erupted. And then when the match is almost over, we had a surprise attacker, someone dressed in all black, hoodie, mask on, no one could see who it was, and he hit who was it that he hit? It was CM Punk with the little super kick, and he curb stomped him. But it was not Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins just had shoulder surgery. It was not Seth Rollins, because if it was Seth Rollins, he would not have went after CM Punk. He would have went after Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And the mystery attacker, like who I think it was Austin Theory, because it was Austin Theory was supposed to have been a part of Team Paul Heyman for War Games, but it didn't happen that way. And I'm thinking he's going to be a part of the Vision, a new member of the Vision, which I'm not mad about that. Austin Theory, he definitely needs something to, boost him back up. And Bronson Reed, spear, Roman Reigns, spear, Brock Lesnar, F5. Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker was the MVP low-key of War Games match, and he pinned CM Punk 1, 2, 3, won the War Games match. The Heels won. The match could have been a little better. It was just all over the place. And then at the end of the match, people were actually booing the top baby faces, which your product is not really doing all that well if your baby faces are being booed. And Cody Rhodes did not shake Roman Reigns' hand, and I'm thinking that we're gonna get a heel Cody Rhodes run. It needs to hurry up and happen. And then Roman Reigns told Cody Rhodes, this is the last time we're gonna team up, and then Cody Rhodes like, understandable. So I think we're gonna get a Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes part 3 at WrestleMania 42. And honestly, Roman Reigns does not need to main event WrestleMania, especially for a championship. He does not need to do it. He does not need it. Like he does. Like Roman Reigns is pretty much just bigger than the championships, like Triple H said. So with that being said, War Games, I give it a solid 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Like the build ups to War Games was not all that good, and then you pretty much just throwing people in teams for the men. It's just like it would have been better off if we would have gotten the Wyatt Six versus the MFTs versus Sami Zayn's team. That would have been so much better. But unfortunately, we didn't get it. So we got the Wyatt. Well, no, we got the MFTs versus Team Sammy, Ray Phoenix, Motor City Machine Guns, and Shinsuke Nakamura in a traditional 5-on-5 elimination Survivor Series type match on SmackDown. And the MFTs, they won. But after the match was over, Solo Sikoa, he was the final survivor. But he was attacked by Uncle Howdy, which they've been teasing the MFTs and the Wyatt Six rivalry. So now the war has officially begun against the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. We'll see what happens. But that's all I got for today, Renzo Gang. I love you guys. But before I go, make sure you hit that subscribe button, Renzo Gang. Make sure you turn on your post notification bell so you'll be first to get your videos. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You feel me, Renzo Gang? Make sure you hit that, give this video a fat thumbs up. And if you want to see more wrestling content, go in the description down below. Click on the link. It'll take you right to my wrestling playlist. So Renzo Gang, I love y'all. I will see y'all next time. You feel me?